Hello, and welcome to Friday Reflections, a weekly podcast about life in the Spirit, what it means, why it matters, and how we grow in it. I'm Dr. Wilfred Graves, Jr., a faculty member at Biola University's Talbot School of Theology. I also direct the Center for the Study of the Work and Ministry of the Holy Spirit today. Thank you for joining me for episode 4. Today's episode is called Keeping in Step with the Spirit. If you've ever walked beside someone on a trail or down a sidewalk, you know what it feels like to be in step with them. You move at the same pace, you notice the same things, the conversation flows naturally. But when one person speeds up or the other lags behind, the connection becomes strained. The rhythm breaks. The walk becomes harder. That's how it is in our relationship with the Holy Spirit. He's not just present in our lives, he's moving, he's leading us. And the invitation isn't just to believe in him, but to walk with him. Galatians 5:25 says, "Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit." So that's our focus today. What does it look like to walk with the Spirit consistently, attentively, and in rhythm with his presence? What causes us to get out of sync? And how do we realign when we have drifted? The Spirit isn't asking us to rush or force anything, just to stay close to him and to let him lead us. When Paul tells us to keep in step with the Spirit in Galatians 5:25, he's calling us to live in alignment with the Spirit's direction. Just as two people walking side by side must adjust to each other's pace and path, the Christian life involves a daily attentiveness and adjustment to how the Spirit is leading. To walk with the Spirit is to invite his guidance into our thoughts, our decisions, and our desires. It means being willing to follow his lead even when it disrupts our plans or challenges our preferences. It is a posture of trust that says, "Lord, I want your will more than my own." This is not a one-time decision. It's a way of life. It involves daily surrender, choosing dependence over self-reliance, listening before reacting, and staying available to God's presence in the ordinary moments. In Galatians 5, Paul contrasts two ways of living. One is shaped by the flesh, by self-centeredness, by impulse and disconnection from God. The other is shaped by the Holy Spirit, producing fruit like love and joy and peace and patience. Keeping in step with the Spirit means choosing to live under the Spirit's influence instead of being pulled away by our own instincts. As we grow in our walk with God, we begin to notice the pace and tone of the Spirit's leading. There are times when he prompts us to act with urgency. Other times, he slows us down so that we don't move ahead of him. Sometimes he brings conviction. Other times he offers assurance. This rhythm is not mechanical, it's relational. We learn it over time by walking closely with him. The more we follow, the more sensitive we become. And the more sensitive we become, the more we learn to recognize his presence, not just in the big decisions, but in the flow of everyday life. If keeping in step with the Spirit is a daily walk of surrender and attentiveness, then it's no surprise that we sometimes drift. The pace of life, the pull of our own emotions, or the pressure to take control can make it difficult to stay aligned with the Spirit's leading. Sometimes we rush ahead. We want answers now. We want resolution now. We want to see progress. And in our urgency, we make decisions before we've paused to pray or before we have considered what God may be doing beneath the surface. Sometimes we move without listening and we end up exhausted, frustrated, or off course. Other times we lag behind. The Spirit may prompt us to forgive or to act or to speak or to take a step of obedience, but we hesitate. We may be afraid or uncertain or simply resistant. I've been there myself. Instead of trusting His timing, we wait for ideal conditions or a clearer guarantee. And in that delay, we miss the grace that comes with walking in step. There are also moments when we just wander off entirely. We get distracted. We become spiritually numb. We allow busyness or disappointment to dull our sensitivity to God. We may still believe in God, but we stop checking in. We stop walking closely. Paul's words in Galatians come right after he lists the fruit of the Spirit: love and joy and peace and patience and gentleness and self-control. When we find ourselves lacking these things, when we're agitated or impatient or harsh or reactive, it's often a sign that we have gotten out of step. But the beauty of God's grace is that we don't have to find our way back alone. The Spirit doesn't abandon us when we drift away. He patiently invites us to return, to listen again, and to rejoin Him on the path. A friend of mine who's also in ministry once shared a season of his life that deeply resonated with me. He had been moving really fast, saying yes to every opportunity, pouring himself into his work, meeting every need that came his way. From the outside, it looked like faithfulness. But underneath, he later admitted, he was moving ahead of God's pace. He told me, I wasn't consulting the Spirit. I wasn't checking in. I just kept going. I relied on momentum and ministry pressure more than on the Spirit's prompting. And after a while, I was exhausted physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Eventually, it all caught up with him. He found himself tired, frustrated, and dry. Not because he had turned away from God, but because he had stopped walking closely with God. In prayer, he sensed the Holy Spirit saying to him something very simple, but profound. You were never meant to carry all of this alone, not by yourself. That reminder didn't come as a rebuke. It came as an invitation to return to the rhythm of walking with God, not just working for God. As my friend began to slow down and to listen again, he noticed something. He could sense when he was walking in peace and when he was rushing ahead. He began checking in more often, waiting more patiently, and responding more freely when the Spirit led him to act. His story reminds me, and maybe it reminds you too, that walking with God isn't something we master. It's something we return to day after day. When we lose the rhythm, the invitation is still there. Slow down, listen, and let the Spirit set the pace again. Wherever you find yourself today, whether you've been walking closely with the Spirit or sensing a need to realign, His invitation is the same. Stay close. Walk with me. The Spirit leads us in different ways at different times. Sometimes He urges us forward with boldness. Sometimes He slows us down to help us rest. Sometimes He simply walks with us in silence, teaching us to trust even when we don't have all the answers. The goal is not to control the pace. It's to stay in rhythm with His presence. So whether you're feeling in sync or you are aware of a drift, take a moment to pause and ask the Holy Spirit to help you walk with him, not just in what you believe, but in how you live. He's already near, he's already in you, and he wants to lead you. So I want to thank you today for spending this time with me. If today's reflection encouraged you or helped clarify something in your walk with God, I'd love for you to share it with someone who also needs to benefit from the message. And if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe so that you won't miss future episodes of this podcast. Next week, in episode 5, we'll explore what it means to be empowered by the Spirit. We'll look at how the Holy Spirit equips us for ministry, service, and witness to the world, not just with natural talent, but with supernatural grace. Until then, wherever you find yourself, in clarity or confusion, momentum or stillness, remember this: the Spirit of God walks with you. And the more you walk with him, the more you'll begin to notice just how near he has always been to you. God bless you. I'm Dr. Wilfred Graves Jr., and I'll see you next time on Friday Reflections.